Hey everyone, how are you doing? It's the morning of April 9th. The shortlist for the Man Booker International Prize is going to be announced this evening. 6 books will be chosen out of these 13 books which are currently on the long list, and I can't make any authoritative prediction about what might be on the shortlist because I've only read 5 of the books so far, but I'll give my opinion so far about what might be on the list and what I'm really hoping to see on the list. And then I'm going along to the announcement ceremony for the shortlist, so I'll take you along to that and film some of that, hopefully film the announcement of the shortlist, and then give some commentary afterwards of what I think about the list and what I'm eager to still read on the list. Hopefully that's how it'll go. You know, when I try to film sort of spontaneously out in the open, things tend to go a bit wrong, so I'll do my best. We'll see how it goes. So here are the 13 books, and yeah, I'd already read 2 of them, and I've read 3 since then. I just finished reading Annie Ernaux's book, The Years, this morning, and what's really quite interesting about this book, and slightly, it's not really controversy, but what some people were a bit baffled by when this made the long list was because it's published by Fitzcarraldo Editions, and they published these sort of blank books with no design on the cover, and usually they publish their white editions are their non-fiction, and then their blue editions, like Olga Tokarczuk's novel Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead, this is fiction. And but this is a prize for fiction, so some people were a bit confused about why is The Years on here then. But I've heard this is the case. I don't know if this is absolutely true, but I've heard it's because Annie Ernaux published this book as a novel in France in the original French, but in the UK it's been published as memoir. So that's why it's been given this white cover. But apparently Fitzcarraldo Editions asked the Booker Prize, can they still submit this because it was published as a novel in French, and they said yes. So that's why it's on the list. And I'm so glad it is because, yeah, like I said, I just finished reading it and it's incredible. I haven't read anything like this for like quite a long time, or if ever. How she, it's sort of a depiction of a life over 50 or 60 years or so of a woman's life in France. And it's both very personal and subjective, but also captures the whole mood of the culture, and it's narrated in this really interesting collective we voice. And yeah, just the way it's looking at time and personality and the movement of society and our national identity, and it's so fascinating and interesting, really moving. One of those books that I was constantly copying down quotes because I was finding it so moving and really profound and interesting, all these little nuggets of thoughts that I just wanted to mull over and think about for a long time. So I think it's incredible. I'm really hoping this will be on the shortlist this evening. Then also I read At Dusk, the Korean novel, South Korean novel by Hwang Sok-yong, and this another really great book that really surprised me. It's a look at a man's life, a very, very established man's life, as well as a young woman's life, who that's really not really talked about in the description of this book, but also a working young woman's life, how she works in a convenience store all night long, and then during the day she tries to fulfill her artistic ambition of being a theater director and writer, and it's about how their lives intersect. There's sort of a mystery and a twist at the end of how their lives intersect, so it has a really good plot, as well as saying really interesting things about society and our place in society, and all those like big questions. So I thought this was incredible too, and yeah, really hope that it'll be on the shortlist. And then out of the remaining books, I'd already read Samantha Schweblin's book of short stories, and I know some people had issues with this book, but I think she's quite a popular author and really interesting author, and I love this book. I reveled in the ingenuity and the creative playfulness of all of these short stories, and I think some stories work better than others, but on the whole it's really fun and interesting and engaging, and so I do hope that this makes the shortlist as well. And then out of the remainder, I would say that Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead, I did definitely enjoy this more than her novel, which won the prize last year. But it's one of those books that I enjoyed the process of it and the reading experience of it, but I don't know if it's going to really linger with me for a long time. So I'm not sure this will make the shortlist. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising if it did, since she did win last year. But yeah, I'm not confident it actually will. And then I also read The Pine Islands by Marion, and I talked about this in my last wrap up, and how I hugely enjoyed it. I thought parts of it were really funny and interesting. Like, the whole conception of it is really funny and interesting, but on the whole, I'm not sure it totally works. But I know this book does have some big fans out there, like Mel, I know, is rooting for it to be on the list, and Britta, and had really interesting, conversation and exchange with Mel, talking about this book, and we were wondering maybe it's an issue of translation that it didn't, because she read it in the original German, so maybe it's an issue of translation that the humor and the point of it didn't come through quite as strongly in English, but yeah, so I'm not sure this will make the shortlist. So out of the remainder, I'm really not sure what will be on the list. I mean, I'm hoping to see Faculty of Dreams, because I really want to read that, and Celestial Bodies and Four Soldiers, and the remainder too. I'm really interested to read that. So it could be any of these books, but I need to go to work now, and then I'll go along to the ceremony, and yeah, hopefully do some filming there, and give some commentary after the prize announcement. So I've made it here to the venue at Somerset House, where the shortlist is going to be announced, and I'm really excited. There's been a lot of chatter and talk and discussion online today about what might be on the shortlist and what people are hoping to see on the list, and people who've might have only read like one or two books on the list, but are really excited and hoping that they'll be honored and be on the shortlist. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what the judges pick. And so yeah, I'm here at Somerset House, which is right on the Thames. So while I'm here, I'll give you a view of the Thames. You can see the wheel in the distance, and just a bit of Big Ben. Poor old Big Ben is all wrapped up in scaffolding at the moment. So I'll film some of the party and the shortlist announcement.
It has been an extraordinary journey, as Fimita has said, reading the 108 books of the world. They're so ferociously intelligent, all of the judges. I wouldn't dare to speak for them in any way. But it has been an incredible time. So we've become intimate with the sexual fantasies of Parisian women. We've learned to understand Bedouin dreams and Mexican dystopias, and everything beyond and in between. But tonight, we're just going to hear about 6 books. The long list, I understand from the Twitter reaction, was quite vivifying in that it surprised people, and I think the same will be said of the shortlist, because these are all books that subvert and support that strangely beautiful collision of human experience and human imagination, which gives birth to the written word. So these are books that have made us talk and think and feel. So I'm going to read them out in alphabetical order of the author. So the 2019 Man Booker International Shortlist is Celestial Bodies by Jokha Alharthi, translated by Marilyn Booth. The Years by Annie Ernaux, translated by Alison. Pine Islands by Marion Poschmann, translated by Calleja. Drive Your Plow, Over the Bones of the Dead, by Olga Tokarczuk, translated by Antonia Lloyd-Jones. The Shape of the Ruins, by Juan Gabriel Vásquez, translated by McLean. And The Remainder, by Alia Trabuco-Zaran, translated by Sophie Hughes. Huge congratulations to all those authors and translators, some of whom are in the room.
So there we go. That is the shortlist, and really surprising shortlist. I really wasn't expecting to see the Pine Islands on there, or Drive Your Plow, Over the Bones of the Dead. But there you go. Big surprise. Although I think they're really interesting and fun books in their own way, and I really enjoyed reading them. So if you feel like giving them a try, try, then read them if you haven't read them yet. But I'm so happy to see The Years on the list, because I honestly, just think it is such a brilliant book. I'm going to call it early. I think it's going to win the prize, and I hope it does, because it's such a complex, interesting look at personality, but also like larger society. And it's such a great book. Honestly, I've had a couple glasses to drink now, so I'm not going to be totally coherent. But this is really fun, interesting list. Let me know what you're most interested in reading now. I'm really keen to read Celestial Bodies, but also The Faculty of Dreams. I still really want to read and really eager to read. So let me know, have you read any of these books on the shortlist? Are you rooting for them now? Are you keen to read any of them now? I know a lot of people like to wait until a shortlist comes out before they start reading all the books on the list. So let me know if you're keen to read any in particular now, and if you have any thoughts about the list. And I will speak to you again soon. Hooray for book prizes!